Green, blue, and gray, that's what we rock. Hawk Tawk, ride with us. Glad to hear y'all dropped in. Hawk Tawk, slide with us. Walt and Dave get locked in, and let's go.
What's going on, everybody? It's Dave DeRocher. It's Walter Thurman III. It's Hawk Talk, and I just made a corporate decision, Walt, that we are going to just start the show with technical difficulties, no matter what. I think that's just the way. That's our new intro. Is that so? If you're watching, because hopefully you're still stuck around, knowing that we're going to probably come in a little bit late and come in a little bit sideways. We're waiting for Cliff to sign on, and so if there's no problems, then you're probably watching an old show. So this is the way Walt and I are going to come in. We're going to come in with excuses and reasons why we're late or something's going on. But how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Just we're in the thick of the flag football season right now, so
yeah,
that's just where we're at. And you can see, Seahawks had their first game. So I mean, football season is here. It's upon us.
It is. So, and speaking of which, we were at Bruno's. For those of you that follow us here in California, Rosie and the gang, and all the 12s down here that have been showing up to our watch parties at Bruno's. We had, I don't know, maybe 25, 30 people, but it's preseason and it was televised. It was a Sunday night, but I think we have 2 more preseason games, and then we got that crazy game on a Wednesday night. Have they always done the Hall of Fame game on a Wednesday night? Do you know?
I mean, the preseason games are all just random days of the week usually.
No. This is the first preseason. This is the first season game.
Our first season game. Wednesday
is a Wednesday night.
Oh, Wednesday night. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
know.
Hey, how many games can you pack in through a weekend? I mean, NFL's like, hey, we're making a splash. And we want to take Wednesday, we want Thursday. There might be a Friday game, and then you got Sunday, Monday again. So
and Saturday, they're doing Saturday, and I think one of these European games is going to be on Tuesday night.
On Tuesday night.
Or maybe Tuesday's the only night there won't be a game this year. It's crazy because you're right. The rest of the calendar is taken up, and I think a lot of it has to do with these streaming services.
Yeah.
And not going into too much detail, and one of the hurdles we're facing, not just with Bruno's, but all kinds of sports bars, is this package, this streaming package that they're making these people buy are like $20,000.
Yeah,
for a small bar. I mean, that's you went from looking forward to the football season and making your annual net or whatever, or having that additional revenue to barely keeping the doors open, and so it's really unfortunate.
I mean, it's an interesting dynamic because there's, like in anything, there's big winners of that and there's big losers of that dynamic.
Well, the fans in the small bars are the losers,
depending on your marketability, your location, like all those different variables that kind of fall in there. But and I think that's where that's why the guys are getting paid the big bucks right now, because these TV contracts are just astronomical. I mean, the most recent deal, I think it was, they sold the rights for $110 billion for 10 years. And so everyone's trying to get a piece of the pie. So it's like, if they're making $110 billion, that means, or they're, advertisers are making, half of that, 2 times that. So it's crazy. The money that's on the table right now. Yeah, big
Cliff. So you made it. Thank you for your perseverance and patience. And it's good to meet you. We were just kind of talking. Walt and I always catch up first part of the show. He always tells us how his girls are doing. He's coaching flag football now. I don't know if you've kept up with him. It's so funny. We just had Malcolm Smith on, and Malcolm, he's coaching girls flag football. And so all the guys have their girls, and then so now they're coaching. They're not even coaching football. They're coaching the girls flag football and having a great time. But So how are you, man?
You're muted.
Mute, Pete, producer Pete. Well, while you're trying to figure it out, Cliff, this show is riddled with technical difficulties, and I know it's me. 61 and concussed. It's like I shouldn't be dealing with technology at all. And Walter Bales is out once in a while, and producer Pete.
Mic check, mic check, mic check.
Ah,
You hear me?
There we go.
All right. I think we're in business.
All right.
But yeah, no, all is well on my end. I got two boys ripping and running behind those boys, having a good time chasing them. They play basketball, soccer, football, flag football, should I say? So they're it's active. It's active. It's fun though.
How old are they, Cliff?
15 and 10.
Okay. Is the 15-year-old doing flag football as well?
He's playing football for the first time this year.
Okay.
He actually just got his pads this past week. So it's first time playing football. But I didn't start playing football till high school either. So
yeah,
if it's meant to happen, it's meant to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I've shared my story. I wasn't even going to play football. I had a small basketball scholarship, and I was horrible at football. And and I just had a football coach say, "Nah, you can come get a better scholarship playing football for me." But then 3 days later, he goes, "Yeah, you're not good." And but he didn't give up on me, man, and he was right. So anyhow, I get it. I was a little bit of a late bloomer as well.
Same story, pretty much the same exact story for me. I was a big hooper, and one of my coaches was like, "Hey, don't put all your eggs in one basket." You know what I mean? Like, try this football thing out. I was terrible as well, but I figured it out by my junior year, and that was all she wrote.
Well, what helped me, Cliff, is that I found the weight room. I was already 6'7", but I really not ever really lifted a weight. And for my mom is 6'2", my dad's 6'7", my little brother's 6'9". So really, all I had to do was hold a weight, and then I got to 360, and then figured it out that I can move people. So that was it. So anyway, so what are you up to now? And you know what? And I'm going to let Walter, your teammate, kind of take over and let you guys reminisce a little bit, because I tell you that the 12s love hearing about our Super Bowl wins and all of that stuff, and it never gets old. But I just wanted to check in with you to see what you're up to now.
I appreciate it. Yeah, no. So right now, besides chasing my kids down, being an Uber driver for them in the evenings, as far as for taking them to all their sporting events. I'm into real estate. I have a real estate development company where we develop multifamily properties. We got a development going up right now where we partner up with Amazon, partner up with the city to create affordable housing. So we do that. We invest in apartment buildings as well, and we also build single family homes. So that's kind of my main day to day, outside of all the philanthropy stuff that I do with my foundation and whatnot. But for the most part, that's kind of what's keeping me busy right now.
And with the foundation, Champions for Change, what's your guys' main goal with that? Where do you see it going in the next 5 years?
So I got two foundations. So I got Champions of Change, which is with Doug Baldwin and Michael Bennett. Both of us are we came together to create a foundation, and that's all about supporting grassroots organizations here in the city of Seattle, or grassroots organizations in general, which are organizations that do a lot of great work in the community, but don't necessarily get the shine, don't get the love that they deserve, as they play a big role in different things that the community needs. So for us, it's all about just supporting them in any fashion, in any way, connecting dots with them, making connections with other organizations to help both sides, make sure the synergies is good. And then my personal foundation, the Cliff Avril Family Foundation, is all about we have a mentoring program where I've been mentoring these boys since they were in third grade. Now they're all in high school, and it's all about exposing them to different professions, different opportunities that are here in their own backyard. Everybody, all kids want to be an athlete to some degree, or some sort of entertainer. That's kind of what the only way success looks like to them. But it's all about exposing them to, again, different opportunities. And I love giving the example. like the Seahawks just won the Super Bowl, even when we won the Super Bowl, right? They think of just the players winning that Super Bowl, but everybody in that building got a Super Bowl ring. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's a Super Bowl champion in that building. So like just knowing that I could be a part of an organization, and if they win and I play a role in the success and the notoriety and all these different things and the team, I think that's pretty cool. So exposing them to the lawyers, the accountants, the doctors, the trainers, like just knowing all these things are in that building, I think is huge. So it's all about exposing them.
No,
Are,
that's
are
awesome.
these are you doing just working with the youth in like the King County area of Washington, or are you going back to your hometown? Or I know you're Haitian as well. Are you going international as well, mentoring and developing kids?
So I only have one cohort, and it's all is, and they've been the same kids here in Washington. Like I said, I had them since they were in third grade. Actually, right around the time I retired. So it's all here, but I'm not sure, as you might remember, but I was doing a lot of work in Haiti. Got a
Yeah.
school in Haiti, built homes in Haiti because of that Haitian background that you speak on, and I also still do a lot of stuff back at home in Jacksonville. But the fact that I live in Seattle, you know what I mean, I'm all about supporting whatever community I'm in as well.
So Cliff, I got to ask, because I host a big event down here in Southern California. It's a celebrity and veterans golf invitational, and this year it's taken on a whole new deal. We're going to probably have, I'm thinking, 6 or 7 Medal of Honor recipients at the event, which, you know, if you're aware, it's the highest award you can be given as a veteran for your valor on the field. And this year we're going to really kind of step it up and really looking to get some people that are willing to maybe travel. Do you play golf is what I'm getting at.
I wouldn't call it that. I wouldn't call me when I get out there. No, honestly, I do go to some golfing events, but I'm not a big golfer. As you know, golfing you need a lot of time. To get
Right.
good, well, to get good at anything, you need a lot of time. But just to play golf, you need a lot of time. And like I just said, with the kids and the business that I'm trying to, kind of grow, I ain't got that type of time. So I'll go to events, but I'm not a golfer. I would
Well,
really
and that's fine. So this last year, Uchenna played, and he's not a golfer
okay.
either. But it's fun having him out there. Malcolm Smith has joined Walter one year and played, and we had Largent and Zorn last year here,
Oh, nice.
and they have time. Those two cats, they have time. They play a little bit. But
Yeah.
I'm getting that is that this year I really want to make it not only special for our veterans. And we have triple amputees that come play, double amputees, and do you know Alonzo? You know Alonzo Mitz?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Alonzo plays one-handed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I teamed him up with a triple amputee veteran because he plays one-handed, and I wanted to see which one of them was better. And Alonzo comes up to me after he goes, DeRosa, you're not gonna believe this. He goes, I got some of the best advice ever from that veteran, because he goes, I was over swinging because Alonzo's still a big cat,
Yeah.
but he's
Yeah.
swinging one handed, and the veteran goes, bro, don't swing so hard. He goes, if I swung that hard, I'd fall over. I have no legs.
Oh, man.
And I just thought that was awesome. He goes, I played so much better. But that's the kind of the event. And what I was getting at is that I really want to make it special and have as many Seahawk participants as well. And if it's cool with you through Walter, I'll send you the information on it.
Yeah, send me the date, send me the info.
Yeah, and with the connections you have, we really just want to, take it to the next level. And we actually live stream it. We're going to live stream it nationwide. And it's really kind of cool, but we'll get that out to you through
Yeah, send it my way.
Yeah, cool.
Awesome.
So, you and Walt, wait, were you in the commando thing? Well, that thing you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys got to tell us about that, because Walt kind of told us a little bit something about it, but now you got a teammate that you did it with. Tell us about that experience.
Oh yeah, so we did a special ops commercial actually. We all came down. It was myself, Walt, Michael Bennett, Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor. Is just those?
That was it. Yeah.
And it was really cool in a sense. One, it was just good. Like the one thing, as you know, like the one thing that's great, especially if you had some success with some guys, is whenever you all get back together, it's like you're right back in the locker room. Like it
Mhm.
picks right back up. I don't care how old we are. It's the bantering. It's cracking jokes and whatever else. So it was really cool to get back with the guys. Get back in a setting where it's actually very much a team oriented atmosphere. So the special ops, we actually went through some training for about a couple of hours with the gear on and everything else like that. So it was just really cool just to get back into that team mode along with the banter and stuff like that too, because
Yeah.
that's how it was at practice. Like we're ready to rock and roll, but there's gonna be guys cracking jokes because that's how they play the game as well. So it was just a really fun environment, really cool to get back with the guys and be in a space where we're working a different muscle, a different type of sport, I guess, but same mentality, same concept of like, yo, I got your back, you got my back type of situation.
Yeah. Now, and I don't know if you've heard of MVP, which is Merging Vets and Players, founded by Jay Glazer and Nate Boyer, who
Yeah.
is a good friend of mine. And he was a free agent for a minute with the Hawks. It might have been while you were there. I'm not sure. He was Green
No, I don't
Beret.
think.
Green
No,
Beret.
He
well, I
was,
know of him, but
yeah.
Okay.
I don't think
Yeah.
he was there with us.
So, but he does that. He does that. The Emerging Vets and Players, the program itself is former NFL players and, of course, veterans. And we get together for an hour, and it's all that kind of that training. Like I'm climbing on ropes, and boxing, and then dragging, field, stuff, and for an hour, and then you take a break, and then you just sit around the mat
Yeah,
and just dump your stuff,
yeah,
and to hear veterans, share what they're going through, with as many similarities as there are between,
yeah,
NFL players and, us losing the locker room, they lose the barracks, we lose the coaches, they lose the drill sergeant, we
yeah,
lose the jersey, they lose the uniform. We both lose our identities. But of course, there's that one caveat of they're placing their life on the line. Yeah,
yeah.
we could claim we have a gladiator sport and it gets rough, but, we're not dodging bullets.
No,
So,
no, no. It's
well,
different.
we're dodging Cam Chancellor, but we're not not dodging
Yeah,
bullets. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So, that being said, it is a completely different workout. I mean, I felt that for a good 3-4 days. I'm in the weight room still pretty regular, but
Yeah, no, it's definitely I love watching. My wife gets tired of me, but I love watching those types of movies because of the camaraderie, because of the teamwork that goes into just
yes,
how they. I mean, special ops movies and they're just how they move and operate, just making sure that they're all on the same. Like if somebody doesn't do the right thing, that's literally their life, right? So
yeah.
just how that goes, it's just a lot of similarities, but like you just said, right? It's not life or death per se, like what they do, but very similar in the sense of the teamwork that it takes to have success.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, you would dig that movie. It's called the movie. He actually did a movie called MVP, and
Oh, okay.
yeah, and so he's never written, produced, directed, or anything, and he did all of it. And the movie is about his struggles transitioning from special ops into society, and he
Hmm.
partners up with a guy that was struggling and transitioning from the NFL and what they
Hmm.
were going through, and they formed a friendship and a partnership, and and that kind of a deal. When I first met Nate, I actually rented out a movie theater and showed that movie, and we packed it with veterans, and we had like 10 former players,
Oh wow.
and not a dry eye in the house, Cliff.
Oh, for
After
sure.
so it's called MVP. I think it's still on Netflix. MVP.
MVP. Okay, I have to check
Yeah,
it out.
and I pub that whenever I can, because it's amazing. What Nate was able to do with zero experience, and you watch that thing, and it's intense. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
have to check it out.
for sure. So
So, I noticed we were watching the Seahawks game. I heard some familiar faces, and I seen you holding a mic on the sideline here. Is this
uh,
another career trajectory of you getting more sideline work?
Man, so as you know, Walt, they tell us, and both of you guys, they tell you the more you can do, the better, right? That's something I really took uh, advantage of in my career early on, playing special teams and all kinds of other stuff or whatever. So I've always been big on just being able to be multifaceted in general. But as far as for doing it full time or anything like that, no. It was our third year. This is my third year doing it with the same broadcast for the Seattle Seahawks. We only do the preseason games because the national televised games or the national TV contracts kick in once the season kicks in. So every team kind of has their own production for the preseason, and they bring me, Michael Bennett, Mike Robb, all of us in as ex players to come commentate and do our 1-2. But nah, it's not something that I see me doing long term or anything like that. It's just
how
fun
long
to keep me around the game. This is my third year of doing it with the Seahawks. Okay. But when I first retired, I don't know, for some reason, a lot of times when we first retire, we automatically assume it's a couple avenues to go down. It's going to be coaching or getting into media. And I tried both of them, and neither one of them was the thing for me. Whether it was, I used to train guys. I was training guys for like 2 or 3 years once I retired. That kind of got old because I hated chasing guys down for, being on time and getting paid and whatever else. Like, bro, I do this because I like doing it, but not because I have to do it, right? But then also the TV piece of it, I had my own radio show when I retired. So I was doing that. I was doing some of the ESPN stuff and all that good stuff. And just the politics behind it and all that good stuff. It just was like, no need for me to be chasing that dream down. While I was playing, I was also already investing in real estate. So it just kind of kept calling. It just kept coming around every time I started pivoting. So, but it's fun. It's fun to get out there, shoot the breeze with the young fellas. I'm kind of like at that unk stage now where, they consider me like the uncle. So, but the great thing is all those guys have so much respect for the guys that came before them. And I can appreciate that.
Yeah, there you go.
Have you had much of a chance to speak with you, Chenna?
Oh, Chenna, yeah. I talk to Chenna all the time. Whenever I'm out there on the football field, or even sometimes he'll text me from time to time with a question of different things or whatnot. But yeah, Chenna's a good guy, man. I'm rooting for him this year to be able to take off again.
Yeah, he's a local guy down here, and I've been fortunate to be able to help support him. I actually did a backpack giveaway just as he took off to camp, and so I worked with his mom and dad to help represent the Seahawk part of things down here, and he does so many great things. But when you were talking about how these younger guys respect the older players, he is just, I don't know, he's just one of those. He's special because he's so approachable. So many of these guys just aren't. Everything's like an arm's length away.
Yeah.
But with him, and I've noticed that same thing with. We had Brady on, the tight end. Yeah, and I used to have really long hair, so we were instant brothers, man. So but it's nice to see that because the money has gotten so big, and they understand branding, and they understand being out there, and I can see where they could start to get protective.
For sure.
Yeah.
I can definitely see how they can get protective. I think the biggest thing for me, and what I tell all the guys, the benefit of me and my experience is all I have to offer you. I don't want anything from you. I don't need nothing from you. I'm probably one of the few people in your life that genuinely just wants to see you have success and prepare for what's next. Because that's the one thing I wish there was more of when I was getting out of it was, hey, like what to prepare for. You know what I mean? Like life outside of being underneath that umbrella of the NFL is completely different. When you're on the outside looking in, people aren't picking up your calls anymore. The restaurants aren't letting you in as frequent, and whatever else it may be. Especially the longer you get away from the game. So for me, I've always told the guys, every one of the guys, every time I come in, because I do talks to them with the rookies and different things like that. It's like, hey, just use me as a resource if you want to. You know what I'm saying? I don't need anything from you. I'm still kind of figuring things out on my own, but I wish somebody would have been able to tell me, hey, this is what's around that curve a little bit, like things to look out for. You know what I mean?
Right.
It might not necessarily happen, but this is experience of somebody that's went through what you've gone through, and maybe just be beneficial. And some guys are very receptive to it, and some guys are like, yeah, it won't be me. You know what I mean? So to each his own.
Yeah. It's what my nonprofit. I building out a platform that I help veterans and former athletes that are struggling in transition with exactly that. Like what you said, every athlete has those de facto avenues to go in: coaching, announcing, or financial planning, investment management. They all go in those three things, and a lot of times it's not a fit. And then they get frustrated and they go, what am I going to do? Well, we're trying to provide that avenue by helping them find those different things. And it's something that the NFL keeps, I think, trying to do, because I'm the president for the NFLPA down here, and I sit on the former players advisory board. So of course we're starting already to talk about CBA and what's that going to look like, where we are assisting the current players and representing them to go to battle against the owners, really. But we used to have these transition coaches. Well, as budgets get affected, the transition coaches, I went through 180 hours of training on suicide intervention, mental health stuff. And then also, of course, then it's just walking alongside somebody that's, taking a job at Uber, because, they didn't play 3 years. They played, they were in camp. But they still made it. They were still a shot at the NFL, but, they're just,
they didn't get there.
And how do I fit in the grand scheme of things? So I think that's an important facet. The work you're doing there is amazing, and we may think they don't need it, but they do, just like we. Yeah.
Sure. But I think, and this is just someone that doesn't have professional training like yourself or anything like that, but just going through the experience, I think the best thing that can happen for these guys is starting to prepare for it before it happens. Like just having an idea of other things that you're passionate about, right? Because in order to be great, in order to get to the NFL, you got to be locked in. You got to be dialed in. You got to, you got to be all in. That's very true, right? Because that opportunity, is short lived. Within that, though, you have off days. You have days where it's like, you know what? Let me get out into the community and meet some different people outside of the organization or whatever. And just taking advantage of those opportunities, I think, is key, especially if you're in some of these major markets like the Seattles, the San Franciscos, the New Yorks of the world. Like, there's going to be so many people that would love to just take you underneath their wings just for the simple fact that you play football.
Yeah.
And I think those things just need to be said more for guys to just start prepping for what's to come, because it's inevitable. Everyone's not going to be Tom Brady, right? Like everyone's not, like, so it's inevitable that it's going to come. So why not start thinking about it a little sooner than you want? And I know the fear of thinking about it because it might happen tomorrow or whatever. But if it does happen tomorrow, at least you had somewhat of a game plan.
Yeah. And you're 100% correct. And you touched on it earlier inadvertently, but that is, while you're relevant,
yes,
and use that name and your prowess to reach out to the community, and then take that in the summer. You can only train for so long during the day, and then take that internship, and get exposure to something and see if you like it, and take it while it's offered to you. And then you start putting together an exit strategy, just like any business owner would, or anybody else. You start thinking about, well, I know I don't want to do that. I interned, and I'm not good with numbers, and I don't like people much, so I'm not going to be a financial advisor. You know what I mean? But then you can intern with somebody like yourself in development and construction. Well, not everybody's built to do that, but find out now, so that way you're not scrambling. And not that anybody's ever has, but I only played a couple years. So, I always put Seahawks on my resume, though, on my application. And everybody wanted to see,
rightfully so.
It's not often that 6'7", 300 pounds walks through the door. So, it just kind of, they can tell you're a football player, and then they want to know. And then, but it's up to you then to take that next step, right? And to be able to prove yourself or show your value and tell them. And express how important it is to you to be successful. So, wait, I think we're getting notification that hey, if Kane's here, let's bring him in. Yeah, we don't want to keep hanging. So, hey, Cliff, I don't know if we had a chance to tell you, but we always bring a 12 in to hang out with us.
What's going on?
Man, Dave still be calling me a 12, bro. I've been around this team since 1994, man. I'm a 12, but I'm also a guy that supports these guys 100%. And Cliff knows. Cliff sees me everywhere.
I know.
Yeah.
But Kenny, I'm talking in general terms of the show.
Yep.
And then
I got
if you would have let me finish, and then I would say, and then there's Kenny.
Yep.
And so, okay. All right.
Yep. Got you. I got you.
We know special. We know they're special in every group, man. But you're one of those guys that makes stuff happen, and that's why I wanted you to come on. And I don't know, Cliff, if you've ever done one of Kenny's takeovers, but we take over Phoenix, and literally it's like Seattle and Phoenix. It's just blue and green. It is just stupid, and I love it. We do it it's be my third year or fourth year. I don't know.
I think it's your third. I think right.
At least third.
Yeah.
And does a great deal. Ton of energy. Everyone has a blast. We had well, why am I talking? Kenny, tell them what we've been doing, because we have former players come, and like I said, man, we just take over the place like we own it.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Last year, I got Earl Thomas to come out. It was his first event he's done since he stopped playing football. It was his first time in Arizona. He went to the game actually. Nice. You know, we sat up in a little suite together, and it was cool hanging with him and the wife. Yeah. And he had a hell of a time, you know, being back out in the public eye after his career in the NFL. This year we got Bruce. Bruce Irvin's coming to AZ.
Nice.
Yeah, so you know it's new to him too. He hasn't been around in a while either to come do the stuff out there, you know, with the fans and all that kind of stuff. So he's looking forward to it.
That's good. That's good stuff. No, that's awesome. And I mean, I think for guys, and this is part of what I was kind of saying too, is like just making genuine connections with different people. It just helps with the transition, right? Because you're going to be on the outside looking in longer than you were actually in it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. Again, I said it earlier, like Tom Brady played for 20 something years. Like, Lord willing, he's going to be out of this for another, 20, 30 years. You know what I mean? So for the most part, everybody, so having those connections, meeting different people, I mean, obviously you got to vet everybody, right? Like the people you come around and all that stuff. But there are some genuinely good people out there that want to see us win. It's just finding those people.
Yeah. Well, so Kenny, let's talk the dates and what we're doing in Arizona.
So
it's coming up.
Yeah, it's coming quick. The game is the 20th of September. The 19th, we're having a big pretty much like a takeover down at a place called Lazy Bird. That's actually a little different than where Dave's been, because we usually do it in Westgate, right next to the stadium. But Westgate's going to how do I say it? Like, it's losing all its venues in that area. So now we moved it down the street a little ways from that area. But that'll be Saturday night. Bruce is coming in Friday. I'm picking him up at the airport. We're gonna do a little hangout Friday night, go do our own little thing, and then Saturday we'll be, down there at Lazy Bird.
All right.
Nice.
And then we usually get together in the morning before the game, and then we head over to the game.
Correct. Yep. Morning of the game, we have a big old we're actually doing a tailgate this time at the Great Lawn, right at the stadium.
Oh, wow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's going to be a little different, but it's going to be 100 and some degrees, I'm sure, in September. But we have we're going to have all the misters, all that kind of stuff out there. Scotty's got that all organized.
Nice,
But before we move on, Kenny, so anybody that's listening or that will catch the show, how do they find out about it? And how do they? Because I know you typically you sell out the venues, so they've got to get on a list, or they've got to make reservations and somehow. Yeah,
they just go on to the ticket link on X Hospitality. I'll have to share it with you, Dave, and then you can share it out. But I know I know it's on my social media, and I know it's on the Seahawks website. The Seahawks, the Booster Club, they've got that because they're part of it. We are connected with the Booster Club 100%.
Okay.
Oh,
We are
Good.
organized with that. And Cliff, you know about the Booster Club, right? The Seahawks Booster Club.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's me. I mean, I've been around the team since '94. I'm one of those guys that likes to work with that organization.
Oh, nice.
So, and I'm also a guy that likes to do stuff with players that don't come around no more. You know, that don't like Bruce. You know, or ET. ET wasn't coming around, and then all of a sudden now he's back.
everywhere.
I've done stuff with Walt too. Me and Walt go along. We've done stuff years ago too, but
It's been a little while. It's been a little while.
it's been a while. Yep. Yeah. Like Obo. Obo's like my daughter's godfather. Ben Obamani.
nice.
I mean, it's yeah. So,
Yeah. Obo
but
was there in Arizona last year as well.
yes, he was. But Roy Lewis came over because Dina
Roy.
had an event. Marcus
Yeah,
Trufant was
Trufant.
down there.
Trufant came out.
Yep.
Yeah, that was fun, man. I'll tell you, Cliff, like you're saying, and I played in '88, so I mean I played before all y'all were born. So, but it
Dave,
does
you're
not
just telling
matter.
your age,
It
big
does not
dog.
matter because it's the same sport, it's the same brotherhood, and we're just cutting jokes and bantering and carrying on as though we had played together because it's just you just understand it, you know, and it was so fun meeting those guys and to feel connected to them. Once again, not being oh, there's an old dude, you know, we don't have time for that cat. No, it was like, you know, we just all had a great time hanging out together. And so that's why I'm looking forward to Arizona. But then Kenny, you're not gonna stop there, right?
What else you want? What else?
Are we doing Vegas?
We're doing Vegas too. In fact, Vegas, that's happening, and we got Warm Moon. The Warm Moon's coming to that one.
Are you kidding?
Oh, Warm Moon. Yeah, Warm Moon's coming to that one. Kurt Warner possibly coming to Denver.
Wow.
So
yeah,
now we got to get Cliff. Now we got to get Cliff to come and join us one of these times.
Hey, let's figure it out.
Yep. I'll have Dave. Dave, you can work on that with Cliff. You guys have connection. You're connected with him.
And with Walt, you know, because
Walt,
Yeah, I got a wedding to go to, so that's why I'm not making this.
Walt's so big. I mean, we always talk about Walt coming to AZ.
The past couple years, it's been on a Thursday. And
I know.
I've been coaching, so like it's been tough on a Thursday. And this year, I'm at a wedding, so.
Correct. Yeah.
That's
right. I'll save the date for next year.
No, not next year.
Oh, when's the Raider game? When's the Raider game?
Vegas. The Raider game is November 15th.
November 15th.
Hey, and just so, and this is a reminder, Kenny, for Walter, if I mean we're talking to Cliff, we got him on here. The Vegas game. I have a friend that owns a hotel, so we can. It's just down the way. It doesn't have a casino. This is the craziest thing. He's a Christian billionaire, and he wanted to build a venue to be able to have Christian events. He didn't even want to put a bar in it, but he had a 5-star restaurant, and they said you can't have a 5-star restaurant without a bar, so he put a bar in it. But it is really nice, and so when we get closer to that, whoever's going to be going, we'll make sure everyone gets taken care of, and I'm looking forward to that Vegas deal.
15th. Okay, yeah.
I think Vegas is going to be wild.
Yeah,
that's going to be a wild takeover.
Okay, but hey, can we pick a cool place? You're going to Arizona and you're going to Vegas. Can we pick something?
November is gonna be cool though. It'd be cool in Vegas. It actually might be a little cold.
Well, we're doing Denver. When is that? That's is that October?
I'm not going to that.
Yeah.
That might be. I mean, I don't know about that, but
that's too cold.
We're doing Carolina.
But
we're doing DC. We're doing DC. You know, we might get Sean.
You're doing all the road games. You're going to all the road games.
I'm doing at least 5, possibly 6. Yes.
Okay. All right.
But that's the takeover. That's
takeover. It's all we got them all planned with the Seahawks Booster Club. In every city with the Booster Club, we're helping them put on big rallies for this 12s.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
so. Yeah,
I'll tell you for the Super Bowl. I don't know if you guys were at the Super Bowl.
Oh my God!
Vegas. It was freezing. I got sick. We did the Ditka and Jaw cigar party, and gorgeous venue. Oh my gosh! And it was like 40 degrees, which is freezing to me. It was freezing because there was a breeze and nobody. Everybody just went out, got their cigars, and came back inside, and then everybody left. And then we played the golf tournament, and freaking Jim McMahon is out there barefooted,
Oh,
hitting golf balls on some par three. Anyways, you're right. It does get cold in Vegas, but not
yeah.
very
What's
often.
the weather like in Vegas in November? It's cold, right, Walt?
I mean, it's not gonna be. It'd probably be like 70 degrees though.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
not bad.
That's
Hey,
not
that's
bad.
perfect for us. That's
That's
perfect
not
for us,
bad.
Seattle people.
yeah, yeah.
We're good with that.
I'm talking February, January, February when that
Well,
when it
wait.
gets
Yeah,
cold.
Arizona's gonna be nasty next month, bro. We're gonna be 110 plus easily.
It's a dry heat though. It's okay.
Yeah, it's a dry heat. Yeah, yeah. But still,
Hey,
geez.
yeah. So Cliff, we'll keep you up to speed on stuff, and it'd be fun to have you join us. One thing I did want to ask, with all the history of Seahawk football, and one of the feathers in your cap is being elected to be one of the top 50 Seahawk players of all time. What was that like getting that news? It had to be special.
Oh, it was extremely special. For me, that was like my Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't expect to make it to the Hall of Fame or anything like that. So like to be considered one of the top 50 players for an organization that's been around for 50 years. I mean, I only played for them for 5 years, right? So to be considered that, I think that I mean, it speaks volumes to obviously what they felt like that I did there, but more so than anything, again for me, it was my Hall of Fame. So I appreciate it. I flew my mom in. I flew family members in. Like it was a big deal for me, and it was a truly an honor to be considered that, especially with we had a lot of team success, you know what I mean, during my run with the Seahawks or whatever.
Right.
But as an individual, I actually had more success with the Detroit Lions as an individual, but as a team, we sucked. So to me, that shows me like teamwork and doing your part and sacrificing some things is the route to go, and you'll get so much further if that's the route. Because there's a lot of individuals out in the NFL that do great stuff. You know, there's guys that win defensive MVP and their defense is ranked 30th, right? Like
Miles.
that's different from a guy that makes it to the Pro Bowl, potentially makes it to the Pro Bowl, but you guys go to the Super Bowl, right? So for me, again, it was just an honor to get that, and again, it was my Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Well, it to your point, an all pro, having an all pro season, that's one of a few hundred.
Yeah.
But to be one of the top 50 of all time of an organization that has literally thousands of guys, and I think when they were defining the list, I don't remember. I remember getting something as a former player to say here's like the bigger version of it, and to whittle it down or whatever that was, and being a part of that. And then, but wasn't it voted on by the fans?
Yeah, there was a portion that was voted on by the fans. There was a
Okay.
portion that was voted on by the organization,
Mhm.
and then they had some type of whatever, however they came about it. But it was definitely a good chunk of it was voted by the fans, though.
Yeah, and to get back to your point of that being a part of a team that Legion of Boom and the Super Bowl winning team, to be recognized as an individual out of that, and we're looking at this most recent class of players that are open for Hall of Fame,
Yeah,
and of
yeah.
them it's Earl and it's Bam and it's Sherm,
Yeah.
and so but all three of them are Legion of Boom guys that have this unit collectively, but then how do you recognize certain individuals out of that and for them to be able to get there? I don't know if it makes it more difficult. What's your perspective on that? Do you think it's going to be more difficult for those three because they're known as Legion of Boom, not so much as their individual, like a Myles Garrett, who is, I think, like a player that's hands down one of the best ever, but has never won a doggone game. So
There you have it, right?
yeah. So
I think,
what does
I
that
think
look
for
like
those,
for them?
I think for those guys, although it was a unit, their numbers compete with the best of guys at their positions. You know what I mean? It wasn't just Richard Sherman was, a part of Legion of Boom. Richard Sherman is, I would say he's probably, I don't want to throw a stat out there, but he's top as far as for guys that have gotten interceptions, right? Or same thing with Earl, kind of, if you watch the film, the sideline to sideline play. Cam Chancellor, I mean, by far probably one of the hardest hitting safeties to come through the NFL. You know what I mean? So I think although you think of them as Legion of Boom, those guys can stand next to anybody at their position stat wise as well. So you can't just lump them in as one. I think they all should go at some point, but they all deserve to be there on their own individual success too.
Yeah. Yeah, and Walt, we were just about to start to talk about this last week when we lost you, and would love to get your input too on that.
On just the Hall of Fame and like these
Yeah.
group guys.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the Hall of Fame, from my perspective on why I view the Hall of Fame, it's like people who've impacted and changed the game of football.
Mm-hmm.
And like, there's a lot of criteria within that. Obviously, there's the Pro Bowls and the All Pro type of situations, where you rank at your position. If you're receiver, yardage, catches, touchdowns, defense, tackles, interceptions, so on. I mean, you still have guys that aren't even, that have top 10 stats that aren't even in the Hall of Fame yet. I mean, I think isn't Torrey Holt still waiting for his opportunity to get in there? I mean, you still have guys that there's a waiting list. Right, because based off position, and that's what makes it tough, because there's a lot of great players that have come across in the league. And I mean, if you look at the dynamic of someone who changed the game, like you were talking about Earl, Cam, and Sherman, for instance, it's like Cam was the last infigurement of what football used to be before it changed over.
Right.
How he created impact in there. If you look at his tenure of time, his time wasn't that long. I mean, it was a little shorter than some of the respective DBs, safeties in that capacity. So, I mean, does he get in because of how he impacted and changed the game, how offenses looked at, that defensive player and, that safety in the middle? Or is the time going to kick his can down the road? So there's a lot of questions, a lot of variables in that situation. Obviously, you have guys that are your outright first ballot Hall of Famers, and those guys are going to get in there. And I think the Larry Fitz was one of those guys. They put Luke Kuechly in there most recently within that situation. But to Cliff's point, I mean, Earl and Sherman have some stats and have a great body of work, from all pro dynamic of making a very, very strong case. But now we have to go back. There's like, what other player that has similar records and have comparable, like, that's been waiting their turn in that. Yeah. And that's the wild card of like the Hall of Fame and that shit. Do they get in? I think they eventually get in for sure because of what they contributed and how they impacted in that. I think the time is going to dictate when that happens, though, based off of who's up for it. Because you only have some people that are allotted to get in there every year.
Yeah.
What about beast mode?
I think he falls in the same time that bracket. I mean, his contribution to what his impact was into the league, it's second to none in some capacities. Now, what does his number look like in compared to like someone else that has similar numbers or have better numbers, right? But maybe didn't impact the game. So I mean, there's those are two different variables that you have to consider.
I will tell you.
Sorry.
I have just a quick, and then please. One of the single best individual efforts I've ever seen in a football game. That run that he had, I still get anytime if I see it, I'm stopping what I'm doing. I'm watching that whole play.
Yeah.
And not many players can say that they ran over an entire team to get to the end zone. I mean, that's just amazing to me.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Cliff. I'm sorry.
I mean, even with that, right? Everybody does think of the Saints game, but against Arizona, he had a very similar run. They had a very similar run, right? So I think that the issue with the Hall of Fame, issue with the Pro Bowl, issue with some of these different notoriety type awards is it's also very much a opinionated debate, right? Like because really there's some guys in the hall that have less numbers than some guys too, right? So is it really based on stats? Is it like London Fletcher as an example? Played for Washington. If you look at his numbers, you're like
almost 1 year, yeah.
Like, and he's only made it to the pro, but like it's crazy the numbers that he has in comparison to even somebody like a Ray Lewis or whatever, very similar in a lot of categories,
Mhm.
but like doesn't even get talked about as a Hall of Famer, right? Based on his team, based on Pro Bowls, based on a lot of other things.
And he
So,
almost played 20 years. I mean, he played.
he played,
Yeah.
he played forever, right? So, like to me, and I learned this early in my career, and this is different from a Hall of Fame standpoint, but I learned this early in my career because there was a few times I felt like I should have made the Pro Bowl, but it was because I played for the Lions. It was because I wasn't necessarily a household name at the time or anything like that. Like my stats compared just as well or better than some of the guys that made it to the Pro Bowl that year, right? So I came to this position where it was like, yo, I don't care about that anymore because long as my peers respect the body of work that I'm putting in, that's
Yeah.
all I really care about. Because again, there is a popularity contest component to it too. You know what I mean? So if you don't play in a huge market, if you don't play for a team that's winning, less eyes are going to be on you, and that's unfortunate for you, right? So the same thing with the Hall of Fame is like the Richard Shermans of the world. People know who he is, so I think he has a really good shot of
Yeah.
being the first ballot, right? Beast
Yeah.
Mode is making a name for himself just in general, but like their body of work speaks for itself, but there is a popularity component to it too that plays a role.
Yeah, there's, and we can go down. We can go down the list. I will tell you, there's a couple of unfair things. One of them is on quarterbacks not winning the Super Bowl, and that's an unfair thing to put on a quarterback. You could have all the stats in the world, but well, he never won a Super Bowl. And how many times have we heard that? That's unfair because it's not one player, and that shouldn't even count into the Hall of Fame. It should be based on what we've been talking about, and that is the stats and the impact of the team. Just like you with the Lions, just because a quarterback spends his career with a lesser team doesn't mean he doesn't deserve to be recognized for what he did. I have a really good friend.
You think that in some cases you should give him a little bit more love if the team is not that good and he puts
Right.
up numbers, right?
Yeah, I have a really good friend, Jesse Sapolo. Jesse played 15 years with the same team, won 4 Super Bowls. He was an All-Pro twice, went to the Pro Bowl twice at 2 different positions. He was a center for Montana and for
Steve Young.
Steve Young. Thank you. But and check this out, guys. Not many people know this. His 15th year in the offseason, he had open heart surgery. He came back and played his 15th season. So that's a body of work. And because he played for the Niners, and there's so many Niners in the Hall of Fame, I think sometimes there might be a little bit of a snub there. It's like, well, geez, we already got, a bazillion Niners in there. But he, there's a guy I think deserves to be in it. But anyways, we got to talk about Seahawks stuff. What do you think? What do you think, Cliff? You were on the team when you guys went back, correct?
Back to back, yes, sir.
Yeah. What's it going to take? What's it going to take this year, in your opinion? But do you see that in this team? I think we do. But what are you seeing, and what is it going to take?
I think this team has everything it takes to go back. I've been to a couple of their practices. I'm seeing how locked in they are. Coach McDonald does not play. Like, he's still locked in. And I think they have everything it takes to go back. It's going to boil down to health, which is something they can't control. You know what I mean? And it's going to boil down to making sure the veterans, that is, making sure that whispers of the success that they've had doesn't like simmer too much in the locker room, right? Because a lot of guys are getting paid now, right? A lot of guys are feeling like they need to get paid. How does that change up the dynamic of how those people approach the game, right? So it boils down to guys staying hungry, and that's on an individual base, but more so than anything, making sure you have the right leaders in that locker room. But I think they have everything. The talent, the young players that they have on defense. I'm excited to watch those guys get down. There's places they know they can get better at, whether it's in the pass rush, whether it's in certain different blitzes and whatnot. Getting other guys involved on the passing game as well. Like, there's so many different ways they can continue to keep getting better. And on top of that, they're not a secret anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like everybody knows what you're about now. So you're gonna get everybody's best game. So this is really gonna see how strong you guys are collectively. But I think they have everything it takes to take it back and run it back again.
Yeah. What do you think, Walt?
Yeah, I mean, it's like like Cliff said. I mean, all the pieces are there. They didn't lose too many people, through free agency. I think they had a pretty strong draft. Um, it's really going to come down to being healthy. I mean, when you have that short off season, getting back in, and that can wear on teams, that can wear on individuals because your training schedule is not the same because of how much a little bit more longer rest. You're going into February for the Super Bowl. Everything kind of gets pushed back a little bit. I think it's going to be, hey, what type of depth do we have? Because football and injuries are part of the game. If something happens, can that next person can step up? I mean, but all the makings are there though. I mean, you have a nice young team. Seems like a lot of guys are hungry. Obviously, there's money being thrown around in the building, and it's like, hey, how can those guys stay focused and still continue to produce at a high level? But you still need guys to step up though.
I think there's a couple of factors. One is that offensive line unit came together last year for the first time in a decade. We had a solid offensive line, a unit that worked together, and we all know how important an offensive line is as a unit, not individuals, but as a unit, and to have that continuity coming back, and having not only success too, and so having a little fluff in your chest, and then building, and the better that unit gets, the better we're going to be. And then to Cliff's point on the defensive side, having a guy like Big Cat, who just is just that hammer, just that dude that is there, and I think he's going to make sure that unit stays on point. It doesn't get the big head, but keeps the energy level up and not resting on any laurels. So I'm really excited. I don't care. I think we have the schedule looks nuts to me because I think half the teams we're playing were in the playoffs last year.
Wild card is offensive coordinator. That's the wild card.
Hey, don't forget about that. We got a lot of young running backs, though. We still got to see where that's going to take us, too, though.
Offensive coordinator, wild
card.
That's the wild card. Defense is going to defense. Like, that's what it is. Defense is going to defense. I mean, we didn't lose anybody. I mean, we lost some players, but I mean, I think we're pretty solid at its core of what the defense is. And it's a defense-led team. So it's like, what's the offense going to do and continue to produce points is going to be the biggest thing. Yep.
Yeah, that's why I was asking Chenna what he thought of Price, and he goes, "Man, that kid hits a hole, man, and he hits it quick. He's very, very sharp cuts, very hitting the hole. He's very decisive." He goes, "I really like him." But then there's these whispers of his back is hurt. I know, Kenny, you're out there. What is Price looking like out at practice?
I mean, from what I've seen, he looks pretty good. I mean, he's got some skinny legs, though. That's what they're worried about, his lower body. His upper body is pretty big, but they're worried about his lower body. Can he take the hits in the NFL? Remember, he wasn't a full starter in college, so if he hasn't taken that beating yet, and that's what they're worried about is his lower half.
It is a beating. And how's Charbonnet coming?
Sure, he was there just walking around. He not really doing a whole lot.
Yeah, are we gonna get him for the season? I don't even know.
They're saying he might be. Cliff, have you heard? They say he might. He will be playing this season, won't he?
Yeah, I believe they said he would be playing this season. I'm not sure kind of timeline or anything like that, but from my understanding, he is. That's the expectation at least. But I mean, it's crazy. ACLs. I was having this conversation with one of the trainers. Is like, when we first got into the league, ACLs was almost a career-ending type of injury. Now, and then a few years later, AP tears his ACL and he comes back and runs for 2,000 yards or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
So like now ACLs aren't like, it's like 8 months, 7 months, and these guys are back out there. So but it really depends on the body. It really depends on the person as well. But I'm interested to see kind of how he bounces back. I know the Seahawks will definitely take their time with making sure he's actually ready to get out there and go first.
I see they brought Trevon Diggs in today for a workout. The corner. Yep. Yeah, the corner.
I do think that's a position we need some depth at, though.
Yep. I think they're worried about Josh Jobe. You think that's what it is?
I don't know. What do you got going on?
Go ahead, Walt.
Probably just his play. I mean, he's a decent corner, but I mean, they're probably looking to have some stability just in the event, a veteran presence. But I mean, Diggs too. He can find his way to the ball, but he will give up yards.
Yeah.
He finds his way to the ball, but he will give up yards though, and touchdowns. So he's feast or famine. It's feast or famine with him though.
Yeah.
But again, I think we're having some true discipline on the defensive side of the ball. That could change some things though too.
Well, and Cliff, I wonder what your thoughts are. This has been brought up, and I thought it was an interesting. I think it was one of our 12 brothers up, Walt, a few weeks ago, and that is nobody's ever seen a third-year Mike McDonald. With all the previous teams, he's had great success in 2 seasons and then went on. And so this will be a first time we're seeing a third year of a Mike McDonald defense. Have you heard that? Have you thought about that at all?
That's funny. I've never even thought about that. Well, it's gonna be something new for him too. Then you know what I'm saying. But what I do like with Coach McDonald, again, being around him, this past weekend and whatnot, is, I mean, he's still dialed in, man. He's still dialed in. He's still attention to detail is everything. He's still being on top of the guys. He's still a guy that he understands that defense has to be on point. So we'll see. I can only see him getting better unless somehow he lets success get to him. But he's been. I mean, but I don't think he'll let that happen because John Schneider's there too, and John's been through this a few times, right? So yeah. I think John will keep everything kind of level-headed for everybody.
So got a little story here. So last week I helped a buddy of mine drive the guys to and from. They stay at the hotel down there in Renton during training camp, right? So Nick Van Et's with me. He goes, Kenny, what are you doing driving these shuttle buses? So I'm helping, right? He says, Kenny, I've been playing for 11 years. This is the best team and coaching staff I've ever been a part of.
Yeah.
I go, really? He goes, dude, seriously, this is legit. This is wicked up here.
Yeah. Nah,
so, hey guys.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention to the time. Cliff, I know we've had you on for an hour of your time, and with the kids and the businesses and all the stuff you've got going, I appreciate you coming and hanging out with us. Certainly would like to keep you up to speed on future events down here. Maybe get you guys down here to Southern California and hang out with us and do something special with the veterans and programs. But thanks so much for joining us, man.
My pleasure, man. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. Walt, connect us all, and we'll see how we can kind of continue to keep serving each other.
That sounds great, brother.
Sure. I'm doing it. Yes, sir.
All right, y'all.
Continued success, Kenny. Love your brother.
Love y'all.
And
guys, I'll be talking to you guys. I'll be talking to you guys about Arizona here in another week or so.
All right, sounds good.
All right, Walt. Late. Bye.
Yeah, good seeing you, Kenny.
Right. You too. Bye.
We'll see y'all next week.
Yep.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Are we good, Pete?